Wion is the only channel that is covering this story from ground zero, and we can tell you the NSO Group is under immense pressure right now. Human rights groups have dragged NSO to court. On the 7th of November, a court in Israel is supposed to hear a case against this company. Nearly 30 human rights activists have filed this appeal. They want the export license of the NSO Group to be cancelled. A similar case is playing out in Cyprus. To get you more, let's go straight to our West Asia Bureau Chief, my colleague Daniele Pagani. He's right outside what was until recently the NSO headquarters in Tel Aviv. Good evening, Daniele. You've been tracking this company, which seems to have gone off the grid. Is there nobody in the vicinity in this area who has a clue as to where they are? This sounds a bit like a Hollywood spy thriller. They've literally vanished.
Good evening to you, Palki, and to all our viewers. Indeed, it looks like an Hollywood movie. I am currently standing right where the address of the NSO Group is. The building you see behind me, the one with the blue shiny light, is exactly where the company was located, at least until the end of 2017. I have talked to all the doormen of all the buildings you see behind me, and none of them has any clue about a company called the NSO. None of the people I've interacted to here in this area has also any clue, but that's definitely the address. We are sure about it because we've made pictures, comparison and geolocalization throughout all the possible open sources we could reach. Hence, the company was there and is not there anymore. Where have they gone? We have sources saying that they are still in this business quarter, so we will continue to track them down. But this is clearly a symptom of how they act. Total and complete impunity and total and complete secreted attitude and lack of accountability.
Lack of accountability. They can try to evade questions from the media, Daniele, but they must answer a summons from the court. A case, I believe, is coming up this week. Is one of the company top brass expected to appear in court for this? What is the nature of charges against them?
This lawsuit is a lawsuit which is carried forward by the Amnesty International, and we have a news. A few minutes ago, the Amnesty International communication spokesperson contacted me and told me that the hearing is not taking place on Thursday. It has been delayed on January 16. What is the reason behind this delay? We still don't know. We will have more news in the coming hours. But anyway, there will be a moment when the company will need to appear in court. When I asked if it was possible if one of the big bosses of the company would appear in court, well, the answer was simply no, because this kind of lawsuit, which is requesting to the Israeli Defense Minister to revoke the license of exporting this kind of products, these malwares that are being used by customers of the NSO Group, is not going to go anywhere, because at the end of the day, the NSO Group, through a trick, does not hold itself accountable about what is being done with their own software. Basically, is like saying that I produce guns, I sell them, and I am not held accountable if those guns will be used to kill innocent people.
Indeed. The NSO Group is also known for its military origins, Daniele. It had a clear first mover's advantage. In fact, the success of this company has given rise, I understand, to many more such players. You've been looking into their story. What have you learned about Israel's private surveillance industry and how it has boomed?
The great majority of the relevant players of this cybersecurity industry, in which Israel has the leads together with China and the United States of America, come from a military background, from the cyber units which are extremely well placed within the Israeli military forces. There is an interconnected army, the Navy, the Air Force and the Army of Israel. They're all interconnected and highly technologically so. Hence there is the necessity, and the government of Israel spend millions of shekels, which mean millions and millions of US dollars, in order to enhance this network. The great majority of the CEOs of the top players, including the NSO Group of this kind of private sector, come from a military background, which means that they gather the expertise in the Israeli Defense Forces, and then once they finish their mandatory military service, they open up this kind of companies with the expertise that they gathered in the military, which makes them extremely effective. This is why the entire world is buying their products. But these products can always be misused, as we have seen clearly.
Right. And final question before I let you go, Daniele. Tell us about the Unit 8200, the Unit 8200 of the Israeli Defense Forces. It is known for its success in cyber surveillance. Has this unit triggered the rise of this industry? I believe the founders of the NSO Group were linked to it.
This is an interesting point you're taking up, exactly because the founders of the NSO groups come specifically from this unit. But not only them, as I said, the majority of the CEOs of these kind of cybersecurity companies have a military background. And within their military background, they come specifically from this unit. This is an extremely elite unit where only recruits between 18 and 21 years old have access. They need to be tech savvy. This is a completely top secret unit and is taking care of the cybersecurity operations, which means, talk in simple words, cyber attacks, for instance, against Iran, but also they are in charge of protecting Israel in front of eventual penetration of cyber attacks, for instance, from Iran or from any other player here in the region. To give you an example, they have a so-called listening center in the Negev desert to the east of Israel, which is believed to have enough capability to listen to almost all conversation throughout West Asia. So this is what the 8200 security unit is, and this is where these CEOs of these cybersecurity primate firms come from.